Oh my goodness, today was such a horrible, horrible, horrible morning. Oh my god. So many things have happened, and I wanted to really, really just get it started with the everything as early as possible, but looks like things had a really, really mega disruption. Very mega disruption, and it was not fun. It was very not fun. But it is what it is. That's how things do. I know the thing. Thank you for the gifted trumpet. So I'm going to tell. There's not enough lurkers here because again I was very, very late with the reminders. Very late with the reminders. But what's the word? Oh yeah, I'll just tell you the story. So I've got some things I had to do very early in the morning, and I only had like barely enough time to prepare for today's stream. And you guess what? When I got time to prepare for today's stream, the webcam I was using just scuffed itself. It had a lot of like the glitchy. It felt almost like it's almost on the verge of breaking down. That's not fun. That is very not fun. I probably need to get a brand new webcam or... And almost every lurker forgot I'm streaming today. Yeah, today, Wednesday, like I say, it's Wednesday. I'm letting you all know for this month it's Wednesday. I don't know how many people will be aware that it's a Wednesday stream for this month, but not fun. But anyway, like I said before, I don't think it's sustainable that I'm using this inbuilt laptop webcam anyway. So I'll probably have to find some other alternative to fix this problem, at least for longer term use. Johnny, good morning. Zero, good morning. Love has good morning. Isaac, if you're here, make sure to thank Trumpet for the gifted sub or gifted membership. Very grateful for that. But yeah, it took me quite a good few minutes to try and get that webcam fixed. Well, fixed is a relative term because it's not giving problems right now. I think the most important part is I don't touch it. I don't touch the inbuilt webcam, and with a little luck, it won't cause problems for the entirety of today's stream. Anyway, I remember your tweet, so I remember. Thank you, Trumpet. Thank you. It's good to know that at least Elon shows the tweets to some people, some lurkers. But yeah, like I said, I'm going to give you a few more minutes. I'm going to give you a few more minutes before... You know, it's a bit of a shame. It's a bit of a shame that the webcam has so many bugs. I don't know why it has so many bugs. I don't like it. But I don't think I have a choice, do I? One of the things there's not enough lurkers to start the topic, so might as well just spend some time to talk about, just to do a bit of a chat. One thing I don't know how am I going to get it done, but I've seen some other VTubers, I recall a few others, say that another better alternative, instead of using your inbuilt PC webcam, is to link your iPhone's VTube Studio with the PC so that the iPhone captures the avatar movements, basically captures all the movements and everything like that, and it just feeds into the PC and OBS. I don't know how it is done, but I probably have to actually go and research it soon. Now touch where I hope the internet doesn't scuff itself. It's already. I would have to find somewhere. Firstly, I have to find a decent iPhone stand. The next thing I need to do is probably... So I installed VTube Studio. But the problem is that I have VTube Studio Pro on Steam, but I don't have VTube Studio Pro on the App Store, the Apple App Store. I don't know how to transfer the Pro license to the App Store. I don't know how that works. That was something I have to work. Good morning, Kirby fan. Thank you for being here. I'm just waiting. Today is a very late start. Lots of scuff, lots of problems at the start of the stream. So please pardon me a moment. It is unfortunate that it has to be such a late start and there's a lot of disruptions, but I'll just wait a few more minutes for more to turn up. In the meantime, most ordinary scuffing is like today's scuff is worse than usual actually. Well, not the worst. There was one time I had to scuff for an entire 40 minutes. That wasn't fun. That was very not fun. Do you have
nothing and you will like it?
No, I do not have a throne. I don't have a throne. I don't know how it works and I don't know if I want to have a throne. Should I? Should I or not? I also don't know. I don't know. But I got a question, Lurkers. Is it worth spending money to fix the webcam on my laptop? Let's just say it broke. Maybe I'm thinking it's on the verge of breaking or it's extremely fragile right now that any slight movements to it is going to completely destroy the... Well, it's gonna cause problems for the webcam. Is it worth sending it to a technician to fix it? That's my question. Not enough lurkers are around. That is so sad. That's so sad. I guess scuff, I get delayed for a couple of minutes. This entire thing happens. This is so sad. Okay, I only just hope that more lurkers find out that I'm streaming today. Get a replacement. You mean a plug-in webcam, Kirby? I think I probably do need a plug-in webcam. I will need a couple of things actually. I'll probably need a plug-in webcam. I will then need a one of those multi-USB adapters because my laptop does not have that many adapters that I can reliably use. So that's another thing I probably have to make arrangements for. So let me just... It's very slow right now. I'll give a couple more minutes. It's very slow. Auxiliary rack camera, separate cameras to use as webcam. Yeah, probably will need that, don't I? I probably will need that. Preferably a webcam that can at least record 60 FPS for better usage, but of course I'll have to cross that bridge when I get there. I think when the quorum reaches around 20 lurkers, I will get started on the topic. And oh boy, the topic is intense, I would say. The topic is intense, but hopefully not too long. Which is just as well, I can spend maybe a couple of minutes or even 1 hour to just have a little bit of a chat before I start. Hello Daisho, welcome.
Like it.
Hello Daisho, welcome. Yeah, I've not had the smoothest of mornings today, not gonna lie. It's not the worst morning, but it's definitely not a smooth morning. All things considered, touch wood. But still, I'll tell you all. No notification from YouTube. What? Oh dear. Wow, horrible. It wasn't the smoothest of mornings, and I'll tell you why. Firstly, I had a lot of things that Sunny got swamped with early in the morning. I was swamped with so much things early in the morning, so I got delayed very hard. No hope for the pre-stream. As you probably already know, the pre-stream. The pre-stream is pretty important because I notice how important the pre-stream is now actually. Gets a lot of lurkers in for the first few minutes. And then second-hand phones, I browse some. Well, on the bright side, I have a phone with a decent camera. So the most important part is how am I going to transfer? How am I going to transfer VTube Studio to my VTube Studio Pro copy to the App Store? And then how am I going to let all of the camera work be done through the iPhone? I don't know how that works. But yeah, my webcam, the inbuilt laptop webcam that came with the laptop, had a major scuff today. It was glitchy as hell. You know, the little glitchy effect. And off and on it just disconnects itself. Everyone is feeling off today. That's interesting. That's very interesting. And by the way, some really weird things have been happening with Sony. As you probably already saw on the post, something weird has been happening. Very interesting, but we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that on the stream itself. We can have our little theories, we can have our little discussions, a little haha or oof or this is horrible later on. But now, I think it's a good time to start, okay? It's a good time to start. I hope more lurkers will turn up because like I said, this time it is for this month and probably, I would say for this month and probably for the next month, give or take. It'll be Wednesdays and Fridays. Remember, so that a lot of you all are reminded, unless I tell you otherwise. Let me see. Web content. Unless I tell you otherwise. The streams for this month will all be on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, okay? Is the alternate week of July, which means that we are having the weekend stream today. We're having a weekend stream this Saturday. We're having the weekend stream this Saturday, and it will be, if I recall correctly, it will be a tour stream. So it will be VCAT. VCAT will be happening on Saturday, and me, Rat, and a few other friends will be going to VCAT. And you can all join. As in, join on stream, okay? But that's for... now it's still Wednesday, so we're just going to take it one step at a time. And hope my webcam does not break down in the meantime. Because that would not be fun at all. Alright. No side. Lurkers are not going to go up anytime. It'll take a while before more lurkers show up. So what I can do instead is I can get started. Okay? We can get started. So let's just get started with a simple question. How many of you are aware of Stop Killing Games? Oh yeah, we already have 6-7. It was 2 days ago. Hello DZ, welcome to the stream. Just a nice start. Let me just a soft to ease into the topic. How many of you are aware of Stop Killing Games? Ecola, you know, DZ, you know, you've heard of Stop Killing Games. A lot of people have heard of Stop Killing Games. That is good. Hello, thank you again for another membership. Trumpet gifted. PKMR4. Make sure to thank Trumpet. Good. I want to give you just a basic premise, okay? It's a very basic premise, and for the purposes of this stream, we are not really going to deep detail with Stop Killing Games. I went through in a lot of detail last year. I'm not sure which stream it was, but I went through in a lot of detail last year. But I would say the biggest trigger point was The Crew by Ubisoft. It was a big trigger point. So as some of you probably remember that The Crew was a launch title, basically. It was a launch title for Xbox One. Well, it was a multi-platform launch title, actually. PC, Xbox One, and PS4. It was a game that came out very early in the life cycle of the 8th generation of consoles. So 7th generation is the PS3, Xbox 360. 8th generation is Xbox One, PS4, and so on and so forth. It came out very early in the life cycle. It was on release an online racing game, kind of an online racing exploration and racing game where there was offline play. There was offline play and there was single player, but you had to be connected to the internet for the game to. What the F is Stop Killing Games? Stop Killing Games is exactly what it means. Stop killing games. So I'm going, Lovehas, you do not know, which is perfect because I'm going to tell you the story, since some lurkers are not fully aware of the entire saga of Stop Killing Games, or even have that much knowledge of what it actually is, which helps. Oh, you do? Okay. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to tell anyway. So, The Crew was the trigger point. Last year or the year before, I can't really remember. I'm bad with dates, but The Crew got pulled from stores. Ubisoft terminated it. And for those who bought the game, which was quite a fair few people because it was a launch title. When you had a PS4, an Xbox One, or a beefier PC, that was one of the games you got. So a lot of people got The Crew. And Ubisoft announced that The Crew was going to be terminated service. And they basically said that The Crew will also no longer be accessible to anyone who bought it. It doesn't matter you paid that $70 or whatever, $60, whatever the price it was back then, $60 to $70 to purchase The Crew. Just one step of the finger, it's all gone. It's all gone. That game is gone. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, Zephyr. It really does not matter. But again, this is not right. I can tell you there are quite a fair few games, especially Ubisoft games, where a player plays a sequel, they will still go back to the one before it. A big example, of course, is Assassin's Creed. A lot of people play the current Assassin's Creed, but a lot of people will go back to the Ezio series of Assassin's Creed. So Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, Revelations. They will all go, a lot of the Assassin's Creed fans go back to the Ezio side of the stories. Or another case, Counter-Strike. A lot of people play Counter-Strike 2, but some people go back to Source, some people go back to 1.6. It does not matter. The fact it is there because you bought for it, and you should have full access to it for as long as you want to. And the whole license argument thing, okay? The whole license argument thing, a lot of corporations and a lot of people on social media would tell you, oh, it's a license, you are not meant to own it. You're not meant to own it, therefore the publishers can get rid of your access to your game at any time. Bullshit. Okay? This is my personal opinion. But I think the whole license thing is that no, you do not own the game. You do not own the IP of the game. You do not own the tech of the game. You do not own the engine for which the game was made in. You do not own the characters. You do not own the ideas. You do not own any of that. No, you do not own the game in the legal sense. But here's what you do own. Here's what you do own. And I'm going to put this into a presentation just for you, just to get the point home, okay? Let me increase the font size. Let me get to a presentation. This is the distinction that a lot of industry shills, a lot of games company fully aware, they know the difference. They know the difference. There's no question why they do know the difference. But here's what they won't. They will always conveniently leave out. You do not own the game, correct? You do not own the IP. Let's say Gears of War. You do not own the trademark or the title Gears of War. You do not own the characters, designs. You do not own their likeness. You do not own their gameplay features, the cover-to-cover shooting that is very unique to a Gears of War game. You do not own the engine that was used to develop the game, Unreal Engine 3, 4, and eventually 5. Yes. You do not own the game. Obviously. It is owned by the people who created the game and the people who funded the game. Correct. But what you, as an ethical, in my opinion, as an ethical business, as an honest business, in my opinion, this is all my opinion, in an ethical and honest business, is that a customer gets to own the copy of the game. That's a very important distinction. They can own the copy of the game, and all they have full access of is that copy of the game. What they cannot do with it, obviously, because they do not own the game as the very concept of it, you can't resell it for profit. Sure, you can trade it in. You can give it to a friend, or you can do like a private sale if you want to just outright give it to a friend use. Yeah, but you cannot make additional copies of the game and resell it. That is illegal. That is a legal ethical standpoint. What has been polluted and twisted against the consumer is very simple. Now, and this is the problem. This is the biggest problem. This is the biggest problem. And this is why Stop Killing Games exists. Because now the new status quo that has been pushed so hard in the mid to the late age generation of consoles, near close to the end of the PS4 and the Xbox One. This is the norm. This is the norm that's being enforced so hard on everyone. And it is the crux of the entire idea of Stop Killing Games. I can tell you right now, I have an entire list of PlayStation 2 games. And a little bit of a story, lore, as you say. Badmin lore, a little bit of Badmin lore, okay? Once upon a time, well, I still have it, to be honest, I still have it. I have, this is kind of weird. I have 2 PS2s. I don't know why I have 2 PlayStation 2s. I have no idea why, but I have 2 PlayStation. Oh wait, firstly I'll tell you the consoles I have. I have a Sega Genesis. I have a PlayStation 1. I have 2 PlayStation 2s. I have no idea why I have 2 PlayStation 2s. I have 1 PlayStation 3. I have... I'm getting him myself. I've got 2 PlayStation 2s. I got 1 Xbox. I didn't have a GameCube, but I have 1 PlayStation 3. I've got 1 Xbox 360. I've got 1 Nintendo Wii. And I've got 1 PlayStation 4. And I got 1 PSP. Okay? It's somewhere deep in some... It is in... They're all in level fun of my home. As you know, my home means the back rooms. They're all locked up in level fun. So yeah, level fun. So the kids get to play the old consoles. And with each of those consoles, as you probably already know, I have discs. A large collection stockpile of discs. All still in their boxes. They're still in their boxes. And hidden away from the sun, hidden away from the elements, stored nice and cozy in a box where it is cool for most times of the year, even in the peak of summer. And of course, in the cold, it's not that much of a problem. I can tell you right now, I can take, let's just say, for argument's sake, I can just go plug back in my Xbox, my original Xbox, or even my original PlayStation 2, let's just say. My original PlayStation 2. I can plug that in right now. I'm just going to grab one of the discs that in that stockpile I have, put the disc in, a game from 2002 or 2003, which is at this point 20-year-old game. Click start, boot up, power it up, the game runs. The game runs 100%. The only reason the game may not run is if the disc is scratched beyond repair. That's an entirely different story. But of course, even with a disc that's scratched beyond repair, you can just have to send it. You can sometimes send the disc to some very, very good IT people good with tech, and they can somehow have the best kind of technology to extract the file from that scratched disc. So again, it's a moot point sometimes. That is what it truly means when you own a copy of the game. We are not asking you we are insane, we are irrational, we are horrible, greedy people if we ever demand from a game developer or a game publisher to own the IP of a game just because we bought a copy of the game. That is ridiculous, that is stupid, and that's not a point anyone in the consumer movement will ever bring up. Obviously, the creator or the people who funded the creation of the game will own the game. That is a no-brainer, obviously. That's why the new normal is that you don't even... Okay, that's already a foregone conclusion, you do not own the game. But here's the problem. You do not even own the copy of your game anymore. Once upon a time, like I just told you that story, I can put in a PS2 disc right now and click the power button, the game would still run and I could still play it and have a good few hours with it. My old Dynasty Warriors 3 copy, still running. My favorite, my all-time favorite, Way of the Samurai, still running. My old copy of Onimusha, still running. My old copy of Ico and Shadow of the Colossus, still running. 20-year-old games. But by Ubisoft's own logic, by modern game publishers' own logic, those games, right now, you will never have access to anymore. Because firstly, you can only get those games now digital in the coming years. Only digital. You can only download them. And one fine day, you better pray you did not uninstall the game. One fine day, you better pray you didn't uninstall the game, because if you did uninstall the game, it's gone. If for one reason or another, Sony or Ubisoft or any other game publisher, whether it's Microsoft or EA or whatever, decided we are ending service for this game, or hey, the license for certain audio, certain visuals and certain concepts in the game has expired, so we are not selling the game anymore, and if you have a copy of the game, it's gone too. That is what Stop Killing Games is trying to fight back against. That is why it's so important. That is why it's so important if you are a gamer. This is going to get a little bit pluggy, but I don't care. Because it affects me as much as it affects you. Okay? This is why it is so important. This is why it is so extremely important that we understand what is at stake with Stop Killing Games. Because if you let the corporations and the game publishers and sometimes the really bad game developers themselves, some of them, if you let them have their way, one fine day in the future, what do you have to show that your PlayStation, that your games from 2020 and onwards ever existed? Let's just say one fine day ever existed? Nothing. You don't even remember what some of those games even play like. For how bad Anthem was, give it a few more years, Anthem will probably be a footnote at best in a gamer's memory. And for those who are born later on in their years, maybe Gen Beta, if this is Gen Alpha, I guess it's Gen Beta, I don't know. The after Gen Alpha, whatever it is, the post-Gen Alpha generations, they'll never know that Anthem existed. They will never know that a game called The Crew existed. It's lost media. It will be lost media. It has been lost media, especially Anthem. Look at PT, the playable teaser. It's gone. It's gone from PlayStation Store. If by chance, by absolute chance and luck, you had a PS4 that had the copy of PT on it, you are one of the lucky ones. You are owning a piece of history. And if by some unfortunate accident or tragedy you click uninstall on that PT demo, it's gone. Xenark, I have a copy of Black and White 2. I have the entire disc of Black and White 2, and I am so glad I have that disc. I can tell you right now that I am so glad to have that disc. It is Black and White as a series is completely lost media at this point. Practically lost media. No, Most people have never heard of that series anymore. And I'm glad I still have that DVD somewhere in the storage of my admittedly kind of large house. They have heard of Peter Molyneux. Oh wow. I would say that of all the physical copies of games that I really am glad to own a copy of, I'd say it was Black and White 2. Black and White 2, I can tell you, it is quite literally a forgotten game, and it didn't deserve to be forgotten. It is a very good game. It was a very good game, in my opinion. It did something that most people probably don't even do it as good anymore. It is a how many of you remember Black and White 2? Lurkers, how many of y'all remember that game? How many of you remember Black and White 2? It was... Black and White 2 is, in my opinion, better than Black and White 1. You have no idea. Okay, Black and White 2, think about it this way. It is... I'm going to just give you the high level pitch, okay? I'm just going to give you the high level pitch. Imagine a city builder like, for argument's sake, something that you all will know at the top of your head, like, what's that game called? Hold on. What's that game called? Anno. Any Anno brand. Anno 1800, Anno 1500, all of that games, okay? That was one part of the game. The first part is City Builder. The second part is Total War. Because you can create pretty large armies to attack the opposing army. It's part. So already, two things. Everything is happening in real time, by the way. The city building part and the war and the Total War part is all done within the same gameplay instance, which means everything. There's no loading screen. There's no loading screen at all. And then the third thing, you thought that was already fun? That's the third thing. God Simulator. You play as a giant hand, basically. A giant hand that can do just about anything you can think of. But most of the time you just use it to grab things. You could, theoretically, grab a giant rock. If an enemy army is invading your town, you can grab a very giant rock and you drop it on the enemy army. And it will do the job. It will get rid of a whole bunch of them. Or if you have enough followers, as in like worshippers, like a worshipper who, because you are playing as a god, you have enough worshippers, you get enough energy, a lot of faith energy, and you can create miracles. Like throwing balls of fire at the enemy army, throwing balls of water on dried crops so that they grow faster, or you can do things like build a very powerful tower that can create catastrophes like giant earthquakes that attack your enemy's base or their city, attack an enemy's city, and they're helpless to stop it. They are basically Karifan, for argument's sake, you are basically playing as the Super Smash Bros. Giant hand. Yes, for argument's sake. That's close enough. That was Black and White 2. And that is a game that most people have forgotten. It was a game that no one should have forgotten, honestly. Say what you want to... That game, Black and White 2, should have gotten the Fable Remaster. The Fable Remaster treatment. That's my personal opinion. It was that good of a game. So yeah. The best place right now, honestly, for Stop Killing Games. Again, a bit of plug. I'm not sponsored by them, obviously, but I feel like as a matter of, it's what I want to do. Let me just drink some water. Hold on, I've been talking for quite a while. My Abandoned Ware. That is a website that truly embodies the principle of Stop Killing Games. Most of the games that have disappeared, forgotten by history, forgotten by gaming, forgotten by their own rights holders, the people who own those games, they go there. And hopefully they stay there for as long as they humanly can. Okay, but I think that expressed my point quite enough. Long story short is that the new normal, or maybe this was some corporations and corporate shills will tell you this has always been the norm. The corporate shills will tell you that, but honestly, I think they're a load of crap, personally, in my humble opinion, because if they were always a norm, why do I get to put in an Xbox or a PS2 game right now and it still plays perfectly well? Even though the dev who probably made it either forgot the game existed, or even better, the dev is gone. Completely gone. Bankrupted. Cannibalized by a larger studio. Destroyed by a game publisher. That's it. Why am I still able to access those games? And that is what Stop Killing Games is asking. There's a very important question. Why can't we go back? That is such a simple question. At the core of the argument of Stop Killing Games, beneath all the jargon, beneath all the legal arguments, is a simple, very simple question. Why can't we go back to how things were? That is all Stop Killing Games is trying to address. It's obvious. This is why I saw a bunch of corporate shills on Twitter. And this is why when I saw the ridiculous brain drivel of pirate software, the first thing in my head is, what the hell what drivel are they talking about? They keep talking about, oh, this is impossible. Oh, this is not practical. Oh, you're putting so much stress on the game publishers and the game developers. Oh, you're demanding too much. It's not possible. It is impossible. Excuse me. What happened in the past decade? Hell, what happened to the 1980s? You maintain your 1980s console, your NES or your Super Nintendo. You maintain them very, very well. You maintain your cartridges very, very well. Keep them in proper confined proper spaces, away from the elements, away from heat, and away from excessive cold, and away from too much dust that causes scratches. You can plug it in right now and the game will still play. It cat, it has been a norm for decades. Why suddenly in the past, 6 or 7 years, suddenly it's such a problem? They won't answer this question. They won't answer this question. They will not answer this question. They won't. Every time you ask this question, always notice. Always notice, whenever you ask them this question, they will change the topic. Pirate Software, he will just change the topic. In fact, he won't even just change the topic, he will insult you for daring to ask that question. Or some corporate shill on Twitter. They're going to pretend you didn't say that. They're just going to keep quiet until you make another post again about stop killing games. Then they'll start replying all over again and will ask the same question all over again, and they will keep quiet all over again. We have to understand the opponents to stop killing games. Most of them, I won't dare say all because I do not believe in absolutes, but I will say most of them have no intention of arguing in good faith. No. To them, they do not have a ethical point to stand on. They do not have an ethical point to stand on. Because they know the optics. They know the optics. They know whatever they say does not matter. Because at the core of this argument, they are defending the concept of ripping off the customer, ripping off the people who are giving them money, ripping off the consumer. That is a fight they're never going to win on an ethical standpoint. So what do they have to resort to? They have to resort to underhanded tactics. They have to resort to insults. They have to resort to lying. This is why they gaslight people. This is why people like Pirate Software and some of the shills on social media will gaslight you. They will tell you, they would misrepresent the entire movement and say, oh, they are just demanding game publishers and game devs to maintain their games forever and force them to foot the bill to maintain the games forever. That's not what they want. But they don't care. They don't care. They don't care. That's completely the opposite of what Stop Killing Games want. What they want is, firstly, at the base level, start a discussion. They want to start a discussion. They want to ask this simple question. Okay, game devs, game publishers, we understand that forcing you to maintain this game forever is not a practical thing to do. You are only human. We are also only human. Let's sit down, have a proper chat, and see what we can come up with. That is the core of Stop Killing Games. So, what could they have come up with? Of course, classic. Give the source code. Give the source code. They're not going to make money out of it anymore. Because obviously they terminated it. Give the source code as open source. Give the source code in open source. What do you mean it's in 12 hours? Why is it in 12? I will look at John, but how is it in 12 hours? I made a wait. I made a post. Hold on. I made a post. Hold on. That does not make sense. This does not make sense. I made a post. Today's Wednesday? Yeah. Today is Wednesday. Today is Wednesday. Today is Wednesday. Today is Wednesday, 9 a.m. My time is 9 a.m. And for those who are living in US Eastern Time, it is Tuesday. So today is Wednesday. What? Did I set the time wrong or something? Did I set the time wrong or something? Holy shit, did I set the time wrong or something? Oh god, oh god. Did I set the time wrong or something? Damn it. Oh, that explains so much. That explains so much. Scuff, 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 this, scuff, that, scuff, 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 scuff. Everything is scuff. Scuff this, scuff that, scuff this, scuff that. Every single thing is a damn scuff. No wonder so few lurkers turn up. It's a damn scuff. How do I send a reminder to everyone now? Oh my god, I hate this so much. Let me have a look. No wonder. I sabotaged myself. I screwed myself over. And I hate this. I screwed myself over and I hate this so much. This is ridiculous. I screwed myself over and I hate it so much. And because I screwed myself over, there's no notifications for all these subscribers. No. 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 They can't do this. I cannot believe I do this to myself. I cannot believe I did this to myself. I can't believe, but it's a slight scheduling mistake, but it made so much of a difference. It made so much of a difference. I'm just grateful that 31 of you are still are here. I'm just glad that the 31 of you are here. I'm only glad, at least. I screwed myself over. I screwed myself over completely. Oh god. Oh my goodness. This is... And on the stop killing games topic to boot. Oh my god. Can I change the schedule right now? Is it possible to change the start time right now? I don't know how to do that. Yesterday I was really stumped with a lot of work, so I probably made a very big mistake. Very big mistake. Is there any way to make the notification happen right now? Is there any way to do that? Oh, my goodness. But anyway, lurkers, unless I tell you otherwise, unless you see it on my social media posts, I will always post something on social media. I will always post something on social media. Do not trust the start times on YouTube. Please. Please do not ever trust the start times on YouTube. Sometimes I get it wrong there. So trust my social media posts. Trust my Facebook posts. Trust my Twitter posts. I will always give the correct time to start on those social media posts. If it's something different on YouTube, just know for a fact that it's the wrong time. Moving forward, just know for a fact that moving forward it is the completely 100% the wrong time. If ever the YouTube live start time is different from the social media start time, the social media post, all of this post start time, just know that YouTube is wrong. Thank you, Trumpet, for their membership. Very grateful. That ruined my mood. That completely ruined my mood. Holy moly. That completely ruined my mood, and I feel bad. I feel horrible. I feel very, very horrible. Well, not as horrible as what we're going to find out soon. Not as horrible, but still pretty damn bad. Sure, Commander, the only problem is with this whole scheduling thing is that there is no guarantees every single lurker will be at. Will be... No. I ruined my own mood, Trumpet. I ruined my mood by not setting the start time correctly. You just got back, Trumpet. You probably didn't realize what happened. Trumpet. You probably didn't realize. And oh boy, it was horrible. I found out through Lurker-chan that I forgot to set the correct time for today's stream. It's 9 a.m. Just like most streams I have, it's 9 a.m. But for some reason, I accidentally set it to 9 p.m. Can you imagine how horrible it is? I screwed myself over. I backstabbed myself. I threw myself under the bus. And if there's one thing that got even worse, is all of the morning stuff. I had so many things I had to do early in the morning, a lot of things I had to manage, and then I found out that my webcam for my laptop is having some problems, which means that it is not a sustainable long-term solution for streaming anymore. And now I find out about this. Oh my goodness, everything is not going my way today. And I'm talking about a very important topic for all of us. That is the punchline to it all. Of all the streams I had to have so many scuffs in succession. It had to be a stream where I'm talking about a serious topic. This is ridiculous. Yes, Corn, it is a me thing. One after another, it's all my fault. It is what it is. At least you didn't throw your taker on top of your head while trying to grab your house keys from the dumpster as a random rat watched you. It was supposed to be a hopeful low cortisol stream, judging by the title. Well, half. You end up with slightly above average cortisol, but not the highest cortisol. VTuber scuff, my beloved. I feel like my eyes are twitching because of the anger. Don't you all think so? Like, guess I look like my eyes are twitching from the anger. Of his occupational hazard every single day. Oh my goodness. Once upon a time, I treated scarf like it's the end of the world. To me, it kind of still is, but I'm kind of getting slightly used to the scarf. And I just feel like, I'm just too tired I'm just so tired. And I'm more tired and annoyed than anything. I'm more tired and annoyed than anything else, honestly. Well, the show must go on. The show must go on. So there's some recent news. I've given you all the high-level summary of Stop Killing Games. What the core message and principles of the movement, of the consumer movement is. Let's go to some recent news. Some of you might remember or might not, but I think most of you did remember because I covered it a few months ago on the stream. But Accursed Farms Ross, he went to EU to make a presentation about Stop Killing Games. And I don't know how much I can trust a politician from EU of all places, but they seemed susceptible to input from the consumer movement. California as well. There are quite a lot of faces that are very susceptible on the surface at least. I can't say for certain if they are, because when it comes to politicians, you can never trust them on anything until it actually happens. They seem susceptible to opening a discussion, opening a dialogue, and possibly creating some form of a control against corporations trying to rob you of the game you played for, rob you of the copy of the game that you paid for. Background noise, welcome. You must have noticed I was streaming. I scuffed my notifications and I set it at 9 p.m. instead of 9 a.m. and now I basically just screwed myself over. But I'm grateful that you still managed to drop in. It is depressing. It is depressing. But yeah. Let's have a look at my post. It is what it is. It is what it is. Now let's continue this story. So, Stop Killing Games had what some corporate shields would consider as a major L. But of course, like I said, they are corporate shields. And we're going to have a little bit of a talk about this when we get into the PlayStation part of the story. So right now we're still on the Stop Killing Games part of the story. We're going to get into the PlayStation part of the story soon. And it is an open dialogue, it's an open discussion. It is a very important discussion because it is a puzzle. But that's kind of getting ahead of myself. Let's go. Stop Killing Games. So Firstly, the EU legislation has stalled. The EU legislation stalled. It slowed down. So what is going on with European Union at this point in time is that they are going to still conduct the industry-wide survey, especially the consumer survey, and to also investigate how copies of games are being treated. When at one point or another the game publishers or the game devs themselves have decided to cut it loose. So right now, the EU side is a little bit slow. But it is expected because the survey is still open and it's only going to end late 2026. So that will just be a thing that's going to be happening in the background. So this is the first one. And you'll be nice for y'all to know that Stop Killing Games petition, which is the official European petition, it has reached 1.29 signatures and it's still climbing. Give it a couple more months, it would be realistic to say it could reach all the way to 2 million. It will be fair to say that it could reach 2 million, but here's the thing. Stop Killing Games for as again, we have to just take a step back and genuinely thank and express our gratitude to Pirate Software, to Thor. If it wasn't for him, Stop Killing Game might have fizzled out and died a long time ago. Ross admitted that. He did admit that. Stop Killing Games was about to die. Because no one knew about it. Really, it went under the radar. Until a big streamer like Pirate Software threw shade at Stop Killing Games. If he wanted Stop Killing Games to fail, he would have just kept his mouth shut and just go on with his way. But no, the idiot that is Thor, the narcissist, in my opinion, the narcissistic Thor, he wanted to act like a badass. He wanted to act like a big, tough guy. By talking shit about Stop Killing Games, he gave Stop Killing Games a second breath of life. He revived it. He resurrected it. Not only did Pirate Software resurrected Stop Killing Games, he resurrected Stop Killing Games and then gave a whole bunch of buffs on top of the resurrection. Something that he did not do in OnlyFans when he was doing that World of Warcraft raid. What an ironic twist. Can you imagine this? He refused to heal, buff, or even he refused to heal and buff his guildmates in World of Warcraft hardcore mode because he ran away and left his teammates to fend for themselves. He instead decided to be the support character that he was supposed to be to Stop Killing Games. Ironic how things worked out. And he hated Stop Killing Games. He wanted it to fail. But it's ironic that he was the one who did its biggest favor to SKG. The irony is not lost to me. It isn't solely Pyro's fault, it's a combination of everyone's fault, but Pyro was meant to perform his role as he claims to be. It does not matter. There's this term again, yet young one, yet young. You manage your own affairs, everyone else manages theirs. You are responsible for your own affairs. It doesn't matter how badly the other players played. You have to fulfill your role as you are expected to. In a game, or anywhere else. It does not matter how bad the other team members were playing. Your role was to be the support, and you have to support instead of running away like a coward. That's the whole idea. In this case, OP, with enemies like the Yup, you're correct. With enemies like this, who needs friends? Correct. With enemies like this, who needs friends? But yet the irony is not lost to me. But anyway, back into this. Obviously, the skyrocketing has to reach a speed bump somewhere. There has to be a steady state, at least in the short term. The speed bump at the end of the day is politics. Big surprise. That is always the ultimate speed bump for most grassroots movements. So yeah, they're stuck on the EU front for now. The Commission declined to propose any law forcing companies to keep running after they pulled the plug. It is more nuanced than that, shattered, but offered a voluntary code of conduct and an awareness campaign about existing consumer rights. And also what it didn't say is there is also, voluntary code instead. It's still ongoing. There is still more campaigning to do. There's still more campaigning to do. But this is the EU side. SKG is still going on the EU side. Actually, they're going on everywhere. Then the next one is the California side, which is the Protect Our Games Act. It couldn't pass the Senate. Long story short, it could not pass the Senate. But here's the thing. A lot of industry shills, the game publishers, the games companies, even the ESA are gloating that Stop Killing Games got basically brick-walled at the Senate stage. But here's the thing. They're gloating right now. I don't even know I'm not sure if they understand it or they pretend not to worry about it just to give them a sense of bravado and to demoralize the consumers. But they have to understand this very, very simple thing. They have to keep winning. The games companies, the games publishers, and their expensive lawyers that probably charge them a six-figure rate for a month. That charges them six-figure rates a month. They have to keep fighting. Stop Killing Games will keep going. Stop Killing Games is like a shonen main character. You keep knocking it down, it will keep standing back up. And it keeps getting progressively stronger the more you knock it down. That is how Stop Killing Games is like. So yes, Gloat. Bask in your little victory lap. For now, corporate shields, games publishers, the people who want to protect the status quo and the norm, celebrate right now. Because tomorrow, the fight starts again. Next week, next month, the fight starts again. How many can you win? That is an important question. How many can you win? And I want to show you all this post. Let me show you all this post. This is from the Stop Killing Games Reddit. This is from the Stop Killing Games Reddit. And now, bless them. They're one of those Reddit subreddits that are actually not trash fire and toxic. But this was a correspondence with the entirety of Stop Killing Games on the Reddit side of things. Let's read this together, and we're going to talk about it. This was our first attempt, our first year in the US with a US budget of $0. You heard that, $0. No paid staff in Cali, no war chest, no in-person lobbying, which all those make quite a bit of a difference. Timeline was so compressed that we could not get funding in places fast enough to put people in the building. We ran this on volunteers, emails, phone calls, and the truth. We still pushed a consumer rights bill through the entire state assembly. 43 to 16, you have to understand this, because this is a big deal. This is a very big deal. Regardless of what you think, okay, any bill that manages to get past there are two houses in Congress. I'm sure you all probably know, but let me give you all a little bit of a lesson, okay? That's just my notes for my information. There are two houses. I'm sure I probably had this little explanation with you all last time. There are in Congress, Parliament, there are two levels or two houses. The base level, the house of, oh shoot, cancel. Sorry. The first one is the House of Representatives. Wait, let me have a look at something real quick. Okay, give me a couple of minutes. Give me a couple of seconds. I have to check something real quick. I have to share something really quick. Give me just a couple of minutes. I just have to make a quick check. Okay? Okay, let me have a... Let me have a double check. Let me just have a double check. I will be something cropped up for like a couple of seconds. Let me try and get it resolved before we continue. Alright. It is resolved. Done. Okay, now let's get back to it. Two levels. You have the House of Representatives, which is basically where, you know, the people. Basically the people's house. So all of the people you voted to be a representative of you, on a state level, they're there. They're going to be there. Okay? So usually, it's already really hard to get a bill to pass through the House of Representatives. Usually it is. And for good reason. There's a lot of safeguards. There is hours and hours and hours and days worth of debates that are being held in the House of Representatives. what it does is that every single person who hopefully who represents the interests of the people who voted them in are gonna debate in their own constituents, the people who voted them in their own constituents. So whether it's their county, whether it's their little region, or in Japanese case, prefecture, whatever it is. So regions, counties, whatever. They are going to, all of them, they're going to gather into this House of Representatives and they're going to start arguing. Basically, a bill that gets passed through and they'll say, someone would say, I think this bill is a good idea because consumer rights is important. Corporations should not be able to just rip away a copy of a game that someone bought, often at full price when it first came out. And then of course you have the other side who will say, I think this is unfair to the poor corporations. And of course it keeps arguing until they call into a vote. The number of people who say yes, this bill is a good idea, versus the number of people who say no, this bill is a disaster. And if they got more votes for people saying yes, this bill is a good idea, done. You finish level 1. And now you go to arguably the second level, the base level and the end level, the Senate. Now, the Senate is something a little bit different. The Senate does not really, in strict sense, represent the people who voted them in. Senators, if I recall correctly, they are appointed. They are appointed by the councils of their respective counties or regions, whatever you want to call them. So basically, it's not their responsibility to listen to the people because they were not directly voted by the people. Those are the House of Representatives. The Senate are appointed. Basically, long story short, appointed again. This is not legal advice, this is not legal studies, but this is from my own giving you a very basic understanding of the concepts. The Senate are basically people who are appointed by the establishments of their various counties. And they basically represent the interests of the county. So yeah, in a way, the Senate's job is to care about what's best for their state's government. In a way, yes, correct. In a way, but that's like the most high level, most basic, nuance-free description. But that, for understanding purposes as a layperson, it's basically like that. This is where things get a bit spicy. Because suddenly, it's not about the people anymore. It's not about how big of a majority of support you have. Especially in Stop Killing Games, we know Stop Killing Games is almost universally popular. The only reason it's disliked by certain people is either because they work for the corporations, they own the corporations, they're an investor or stakeholder or a shareholder in the corporations, or they're just simply corporate shills. That's the only reason those people do dislike Stop Killing Games. So the vast majority of people do support it. The vast majority of the paying consumer who has money and wants to be customers, they support this initiative. So of course, it went through the House of Representatives, and it shows you how popular it is. Okay, fact being the matter, California is California, but still, I'm glad we're going to talk about something here, and I'm glad at the end of the day, right-wingers and left-wingers, within certain caveats, there's always outliers, there's always exceptions, right-wingers and left-wingers can agree. My money is my money. And if I don't like your thing, I'm not going to spend your money. If I don't like your thing, I'm not going to spend money on your product. And if you're going to rip me off, I'm not going to be happy. At least that's something left-wingers and right-wingers can agree on in America so far. Granted, so far from my own personal experiences. So yeah, we're at the Senate level now, and this is where things stopped. Surprise, surprise, this is where things stopped for Stop Killing Games. It stopped at the Senate level. And now you understand why it did. Because when it comes to the interest of the county or interest of the state as a whole, suddenly lobbyists become so important. A little bit of a donation here, a little bit of a donation to a senator's fundraiser. Here, a little bit of a nice Rolex watch for another senator during a posh dinner at the French Laundry there. A little bit of social gathering where people trade favors here and there. Suddenly, the senators, they play ball with the corporations. This is just, I'm talking about hypothetical, okay? I'm not saying anything. For legal reasons, I'm not making any implications about any specific senator in California, but I'm just talking about your typical political intrigue drama series. That's how things always work. In those drama series, for legal reasons, it's only in those drama series. I'm talking about hypothetical right now, okay? Things start to make a lot more sense. Why the Protect Our Games Act couldn't pass the Senate. Starts to make a whole world of sense. But yeah, let's continue the statement from the subreddit, from the representatives of Stop Killing Games at the subreddit. Let's continue reading. And we still push consumer rights bill through the entire state assembly. In other words, the representative house, the base house, 43 to 16. That is a big number. That is practically landslide. That's practically landslide material. Landslide. And into the Senate committee vote. We were only 3 votes away from this becoming law. It was neck to. In other words, the corporate shills, and in other words, all of the games publishers and the ESA and all of the clowns who are trying to defend the status quo, they have to understand this. It passed by a landslide on the representative level. And if this bill ever starts going again with just a few more amendments, the landslide could be even higher. At this point, it is likely a foregone conclusion. The bill, if it goes back into Congress or Parliament again, it's gonna pass at least on the representative level near instantly. And then it goes to the Senate vote. And the Senate vote, unfortunately for these corporate shills, they do not understand how bad this is. 3 votes. They only lost, Stop Killing Games only lost by 3 votes. That is basically sudden death. It is essentially a sudden death. It is literally threadbare. A thread. As thin as a thread. It could have won, it could have lost. It was really either one's game at that point in time. And in just a stroke of a setback, it was the other side. It didn't pass. It was margin of error, correct. It was margin of error. Let's continue the statement. A volunteer movement with nothing. Yes. this is another important part. A volunteer movement with nothing. Nothing. No budget. No staff. No war chest. No lobbyists. Only volunteers, emails, and phone calls. And yet, despite all of that, took one of the most powerful trade groups in entertainment, ESA, forced them to spend real money and real effort to stop this. High-paid lawyers that you have to give them six-figure rates every month just to maintain them. Think about this. For those of you who believe it's a black pill moment that Stop Killing Games was stopped, think about this. Think. Run this scenario through your head and tell me how horrifyingly difficult it was for the establishments, the ESAs and the corporations to snatch only within the margin of error that victory. They had to work for this. Yes, that's my point. They're going to have to work a lot harder next time because next time we will be more ready. The opposition was led by ESA, the lobbying arm of the biggest publishers on earth. Take-Two, EA, Ubisoft, you name it. They did not fight this with facts. They fought it with fear. They brought in a high-paid, DC-based lobbyist, Jennifer Gibbons, who worked the offices with claims that range from misleading to flatly false. We're going to show you one example of the flatly false part, okay? We're going to show you one example of the flatly false part, and I'm going to tell you how stupid that sounds. We are putting those claims on the record because sunlight is the entire point. They claim that running a private server, like the ones people run for Minecraft, would be illegal. We're gonna listen straight from the horse's mouth later. They claim the bill demands forever support, and yep, this is the continuing misrepresentation and gaslighting that they're going to give. They will keep giving this gaslight. The corporations will keep giving this gaslight. The shills will keep giving this gaslight. Forever support. You have to understand that is a lie. You have to understand that is just their tactic in argument, and the truth is something more simple. Discuss and make arrangements, one that can mutually benefit both sides. And there are so many ways it can benefit both sides. Like I say, source code. Give the source code. Give the server APIs. If it's a fully online game, give the server APIs to the modding communities. You don't even make any more money from the game. Why? What does it matter? And if you're so worried about, oh, this modding community is going to cause problems and reputational damage, then just say it outright. Make a big red announcement in red text. From this point moving onwards, let's say for argument's sake, the crew will not be managed by Ubisoft. It will be managed by the community of the crew and all the modders associated with the continuing project. We take no responsibilities or accountability for what happens after. They could have said that. Evergreen, thank you for the follow. What subs? Thank you for the sub on YouTube. But let's continue. Let's finish this up. They claim it is impossible to keep online games playable after support ends. Again, I covered this literally a few seconds ago. They claim with licensed content like music, car brands, or sports could never stay playable after sales stop. Really? I can put in a copy of GTA San Andreas for PS2 right now into my disk drive, and I can tell you for certain songs that have already gone past copyright are still did not automatically break my copy of GTA San Andreas. I can tell you for certain. My GTA Vice City copy, I can tell you right now, just because the license for a couple of those songs from Vice City have expired on Rockstar's side, it did not automatically cause my copy of GTA's Vice City to spontaneously combust and turn into dust. It didn't. I'm sorry, but it did not. So that's another stupid argument. And worst case scenario, yeah, they replace the songs. They replace the songs with something that they have different licenses for, or they just outright remove it. Yeah. Stupid argument, and this is the worst. This is outright lying to our faces. They claim that requiring an end-of-life plan would force studios to build a completely new product. That is so stupid. Again, we don't need... Stop Kidding Games has said this multiple times. Ross himself said it on video multiple times. He is not demanding game developers to develop a completely new offline product for end of life. That is another pathetic deflection. They just say make arrangements for the community to work on end of life themselves. At the most generous, at the most reasonable case scenario. The game, server APIs, again, source code. You don't need any of them anymore. You don't want any of them anymore. Why keep it? Let it rot. Why keep it and let it rot or gain dust in some server cluster somewhere? Why let it rot and gain dust in the form of an SSD or a hard disk somewhere in some warehouse you don't even bother to remember? What even is the point? Let the people who enjoyed your game keep it alive. You don't even have to pay them. In fact, they probably even pay you for the source code. Some of them, if they love the game enough, they probably even pay you. They offer a number. This is stupid to me. Let's continue. And one of the biggest tragedies again, say what you want. Oh, Pete, it's funny that you mentioned games for Windows Live. Say what you want about, say what I want about Fable 3, okay? Say what I want about Fable 3. I did have a good time when I got a chance to play the game. Back in the Xbox 360. I still have a copy of the game on Xbox 360. Can you believe it, Lucas? I still have a copy of Fable 3 on Xbox 360. I can boot it up right now. And the game will still run, even without internet connection. I'm letting you know right now. Without internet connection, right now the game will run and it will boot. Without question. But the sad thing is that Fable 3 is not available on PC anymore. It used to be available on PC. It used to be available on Steam. But Steam delisted the game. But you know what's the punchline? You know what is the punchline? Unlike pathetic Ubisoft or pathetic PlayStation and Sony. If you bought Fable 3 before the game was delisted from Steam, the game is with you forever. Well, in a relative sense, in practical terms, okay? In practical terms, the game is there in your library forever. You can at any time reinstall that game, get a patch that will disable games from Windows Live, or get some patch that restores online functionality in a different way, and Fable 3 is again ready to play on Steam. You just can't buy the game anymore. But if you bought the game, it's still there for you to play right now. You can literally install the game right now, click play, and you will run, as long as you have the proper patches to disable games for Windows Live. That's all. That's all you have to worry about. So, all of these Sony fanboys, Sony ponies, PlayStation fanboys will say, what about Steam? Well, hey, at least Steam does not rob me of the thing I bought. At least Steam does not rob me of the thing I bought just because they delisted it for one reason or another. I still have that. I still have the ownership of that copy of the game on Steam, which I can install anytime I want. So say what you want about. So, PlayStation fanboys, Sony ponies, sit down. But let's finish this article, then we can move on. Okay, we can move on after the article. Every one of these claims was designed to scare a busy legislator who does not have time to fact-check a well-dressed lobbyist in real time. It worked just... The guy should have emphasized this word in bold and all caps. Just well enough. It scared only 3 people. Enough. Imagine if those 3 people actually bothered to sit down, spend an hour or 2 just to read the facts of the Stop Killing Games passing of the bill and what they were trying to advocate. They're done. The game publishers would have lost. And legislators, as busy as they are, they can't be 100% busy and incapable of reading Stop Killing Games' policies, proposed policies and bills forever. Eventually, they will have enough time to read it properly. And when they do read it properly, you are done. See you, Marco. See you later. Or see you on Friday. See you on Friday. It will not work when we are standing in the same room with developers and players beside us, ready to answer every single claim in question as it happens. Again, like I said, this entire point. Again, a very, very important point. The ESA, the game publishers, the game companies like Sony. I'm sure Sony Interactive Entertainment, Sonyphonia, is definitely part of that faction who hate Stop Killing Games right about now. Good luck. You won the first battle. You won the first battle in what is going to become endless numbers of battles, and you better hope you're at top form for every single one of them. Because firstly, Stop Killing Games is probably going to be top form at every single one of them because, again, there is no bigger motivator to a grassroots movement than spite. Spite is one of the most powerful motivators. And self-interest is also one of the most powerful motivators. We are customers. Customers want to be treated fairly by the business. Sure, it'll be nice if the business bends over backwards to satisfy us as customers, but at the very least, we just want to be treated fairly by a business. So spite can be a powerful motivator. The urge to see the look on your face as you lose can be a powerful motivator. The urge at seeing a greedy, sleazy, corrupt corporation being forced to give some fairness to the customers and consumers they have abused for years is a powerful motivator. That satisfaction is valuable. Of course, most of the time, Stop Killing Games is going to be at top form because they have what your lawyers do not have. They have what your little lobbyist groups do not have. Passion, care. I can tell you right now, your lawyers would not give a shit about what you cared about as game publishers if you didn't give them the 6-figure salary every single month. I can tell you right now, they don't care about you. They care about your money. And what happens when one day you decided that it's too expensive to continue to maintain them and you stop giving them money? You think what? They're just going to still say, oh, my loyalty is with you. We will keep fighting even though you are not paying us any more money. Don't delude yourself. Don't delude yourself, companies. Don't delude yourself, corporations. That's not going to happen. Not on I Stop Killing Games. Most of the people who are doing it for free. Let's have a look. What else I could show you? Oh, by the way, I want to show you something stupid. Just very, very stupid, okay? Something stupid. Here is the ESA representative who made that whole Minecraft server argument, and let's just say you have to listen to it to believe it, okay?
One part of the bill is around the ability to go on a community server. The author is stating that that's currently allowed right now, so long as you're. I don't want to misunderstand what you said, Assemblymember.
That's correct. Minecraft is currently hosted by community servers. Call of Duty community servers. So it's an option that is out there in existence here today.
They're illegal, and they are not in any way affiliated with Microsoft. Microsoft, for Minecraft, has gotten a lot of criticism.
You heard that right. You heard that right. Apparently, every single community server is 100% illegal. They're not run by they're not run by Microsoft. They're not run by Minecraft. So therefore, they're illegal. That really nice Hololive, that nice Hololive server that Hololive EN and Hololive JP always hang out in, illegal. Those Face Connect Minecraft servers, illegal. The server you are running with a bunch of your friends just to hang out, illegal. All those TF2 times 100 times 1000 times 10,000 servers that are always so funny or that have funny little gameplay modes, illegal. Oh my god. Someone go send the FBI after Pipkin Pippa for playing Minecraft on the Face Connect server. The Face Connect server is 100% illegal. We will not arrest Pipkin Pippa for her comments about Walmart, but we sure as hell are going to arrest her and send her to prison because she played Minecraft on her Face Connect community server. Someone stop her right now. Oh my god, Tenma, she was also playing Minecraft in the community server for Face Connect alongside Hanya. Oh no. She's got a gun. No! What am I even... What? Oh no. What are we even doing? And you know it's bad. You know it is bad. When you know it's bad. You know it's getting really insane when the games journalists decide to bury the hatchet with you. You know things have gotten this bad and ridiculous when games journalists and gamers are actually in agreement over something that they think, both of them, that is ridiculously stupid. These are achievements. I never thought I'd see the day. Really, I never thought I'd see the day. Off and on you will see these little incidents that somehow manage to unite gamers and games journalists to mortal enemies. And for one brief moment, for one briefest of moments, they're fighting together. Catch me on a corner selling server jars out of a long trench coat. Yep. Someone go arrest Pipkin Pippa for playing Minecraft in the community Face Connect server, please. In a remarkably strange... That is like Monty Python levels of comment. What a strange person. That's exactly how it feels. In a remarkably strange statement at a recent California Center State hearing over Protect Our Games, a representative of the ESA declared private servers for the likes of Minecraft or Call of Duty is illegal, adding that so far ESA is concerned we consider it piracy. Jennifer Gibbons, I want to know who you are. I'm sorry, I want to know who you are, Jennifer Gibbons. Do you have a Twitter account? Does Jennifer Gibbons have a Twitter account? I am curious to see what people are has she reacted to what people are reacting to her statement, her extremely odd statement? I do wonder if she actually has a Twitter account. Let me have a look. Just out of curiosity, this is just for educational purposes. This is just to explore certain key events in an educational environment, in an education-based environment, and it's not meant to be to target anyone or to harass anybody. Understand this. Okay, let's go search. Jennifer Gibbons. Let's have a look. There's a lot of Jennifer Gibsons, but no Jennifer Gibbons. There is a lot of Jennifer Gibsons, but no Jennifer Gibbons. The punchline. Now, let it not be said that I am a big fan of... You know me. I am really not a big fan of Tim Sweeney. You know me. I refuse to install the Epic Game Store, and I refuse to have an Epic account out of pure spite for for Tim Sweeney after what he did with those epic exclusivity deals. But credit where it's due. Tim Sweeney said something that is rational. Tim Sweeney said, "What? This is the first time I've heard that server hosting is illegal." And he says, according to Minecraft EULA, hosting a server is fine. What the hell are you talking about, Jennifer Gibbons? So yes, even Tim Sweeney, and we all know how much Tim Sweeney will always shortchange the consumer in favor of supporting only the game developer and the game publisher. We know how it works with Tim Sweeney. He hardly cares about the customer. He only cares about the supply side. He only cares about the business side. He only cares about the game developer and game publisher side. And for him to say this shows you how stupid your comment was. Oh, by the way, yeah, you can head to the official Minecraft website. And answering your question, what was your question, Marie? Zavok, did Microsoft actually go after servers? No, the opposite. Microsoft literally gives you the resources to host your own server, Zavok. That is the opposite. So, I hope that answers your question, Zavok. It's the opposite. They give you the resources to set up your own private server. We have lawsuits, 2 pending lawsuits against private servers right now in the United States in the Notorious Markets Report, blah 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 blah. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. I mean, legitimately, good luck with that. If I were a judge, I would have dismissed the entire thing under a very, very questionable decision to sue people over something that is already accepted as legal. But good luck with that. And just for this moment, I have chosen to support PC Gamer by giving them 1 click. You're welcome. Give me ban gavel. You know the funniest thing about the design for me? All my hammers are gavels. Funny how that works, huh? Instant noodles. Oh dear, that sounds good. Oh, okay. That is a big one. But because of this stupidity on ESA side, her comment about Minecraft servers being illegal has become a meme. A meme on both Facebook and Twitter. And because he has become a viral meme, more people know about Stop Kidding Games. Congratulations, ESA. Your stupidity gave Stop Kidding Games just a little bit more power. Just like how Thor and Pirate Software had decided to give Stop Kidding Games a resurrection and a whole bunch of buffs. Congratulations, you made your enemies more powerful. And all you had to do was not be stupid. Well, that is, so what is there to take away from this entire saga so far? Stop Killing Games is just going to get more powerful. There's going to be more supporters. The grassroots movement is going to grow and it's continuing to snowball. The corporations, the status quo, they won a couple of battles. But honestly, those battles are not really destroying Stop Killing Games, more like it just gave them a speed bump. It's just a speed bump to Stop Killing Games. And celebrate while you still can, Ubisoft. Celebrate while you still can, PlayStation and Sony. Celebrate while you still can, game publishers and ESA. Because next week or next month, the fight starts all over again. You better make sure you and your lawyers, which you paid a lot of money to maintain, can keep fighting it forever. And not just in California. In Europe, in other states in the US, even in Asia. You better make sure you have the power and are in top form to win every single battle. You are the one on the defensive here, corporations. You are the one who is trying to maintain a status quo. And you are wasting a lot of money to maintain the status quo. Will it be worth it? I don't know. I don't think it would be. All you literally have to do, as Stop Killing Games have said, as what I have said, go back to where things were. It's literally that easy. Go back to where things were. And if you go back to where things were, I would tell you, most of us would probably be happy. We would be genuinely happy. Give us back our copies of games that we bought. We do not want to own your IPs. We do not want to resell your game. Okay? We just want to enjoy our game whenever we want, anytime we want. It's not that hard. That's what you have been doing since the 1980s. That's what you have been doing since the 2000s. That's why I can go again. That is why I have my PS2 and my Xbox right now. I can open a disc, slot it in, and the game will run perfectly fine. And the only reason it won't run is if the disc is scratched too much. Nothing that Stop Killing Games is asking for is something that you have never done before. Please understand this. You literally have done this before for decades. And only now recently you want to pretend suddenly it's an impossible ask. Stupid. But yeah, that is the update for Stop Killing Games. That is just the update. It's an ongoing story, and if there's ever another big development with Stop Killing Games, you bet it that I will be talking about it. Whether I'm talking about it on Twitter or Facebook or on stream, time will tell. It's an important topic. I'm sure most of us here are gamers. The 30 of you like us, probably all of you are gamers. Or if I'm retweeting, yes. And now we're gonna go to the next topic, don't we? We're gonna go to the next topic. And I'm only going to go to the next topic after a short break because I have to regain my energy. It has been an emotional talk. A mix of scuffs, a mix of an emotional roller coaster from all the scuffs, from all the situations, and from outright the topic itself. Give me 3 minutes, roughly 3 minutes. 3 to 4 minutes. And after that, we'll come back. We're going to finish off the stream with the second half of the topic. Today, I'm really quite busy. I will try to finish everything before 2 p.m. Yeah, before 2 p.m. Because I'm a little bit of a rush after 2 p.m. I have something to do, but hopefully I can get everything done soon. I'll see you in a couple of minutes. Oh, I hear stuff. I hear stuff. I hear stuff. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. What am I reading? Okay, let me see. What's on the Steam notifications? Huh. I got a notification from from ESA Black Ops. What the hell? Oh my god. What the hell is going on? The ESA Black Ops, you have been spreading information that is inconvenient for our efforts. As such, this is our final warning to you to not meddle in our affairs. You will own nothing and you will be happy. And if you continue to complain and make posts about it on social media or stream about it, we will have to take drastic actions. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, they're after me, lurkers. They're after me. Oh my goodness, they're after me right now. Oh no, ESA Black Ops. The ESA Black Ops are after me, lurkers. Whatever will I do? How am I going to escape from this? How am I going to escape from this right now? Just as ESA gave Storm King games more popularity, they will remove Famine up in the world. How am I going to do that right now? They're coming after me. ESA. I didn't realize ESA had a Black Ops section. No. Why would they do such a thing? Why would they do such a thing? Oh no. I know why they would do such a thing. They're after me, Lucas. They're after me. They're after me. I gotta go hide. I got to go hide. Hold on. I've got to go hide. This is... they're coming after me. They're after me. They're onto me. They're onto me. They're onto me. Oh my goodness. Oh, they can't get me here. I don't think they can get me here. I don't think they can get me right all the way here. Oh. Okay. I should be safe for now. Let me give you 10 seconds. Wait till Mr. Squiggles gets rid of them. I can hear them right now. They are... You do not hear them right now, but I can hear gunfire. A lot of screaming, a lot of panicking, a lot of God help me. Oh my... And a lot of what the hell is that? Okay, Mr. Squiggles is definitely doing quite a lot of work. Hold on, let me go have a look. Let me see whether Mr. Squiggles is doing anything or not. Let me have a look. Just let me have a look. Give me a second. Give me a second. Where is he? Where are those people invading my little let me go see where they are. Give me a second. Oh, okay. Okay. They're cleaning up now. The ESA Black Ops are gone. ESA Black Ops are all gone. Mr. Squiggles is just cleaning up right now. Oh no, okay, he's sweeping the floor. Alright. I guess the coast is clear. The ESA Black Ops are all... Well, they're all busy. Let's just say they're all busy. So it should be safe to get back into the office. Let's go back to the office. Okay. Now we got some time to move back to the topic at hand. But anyway, how you're doing so far? Again, it's a shame that only 30 of you lurkers are here for it. I hope more people get used to the Wednesdays of the stream. But it is what it is, I guess. It is what it is, as they say. I'm getting tired of all the it is what it is juice, honestly. Alright. Let me just catch my breath. I think this is beneath even for Mr. Bacteria. Did Mr. Bacteria milk them on? No, I don't think so. I don't know what they did with them, personally. Okay, let's finish off with the second half of the topic. Now, do any of you know? Some of you who were here on the Twitch stream 2 days ago will probably know, but do any of you know who Shuhei Yoshida is? A bit of a show of hands. Do any of you know who Shuhei Yoshida is? Alright. Let me see, for setting the scene, I can show you who Shuhei Yoshida is. You probably will know him. You probably will know him pretty damn obviously, but you probably saw him somewhere. But you probably didn't know his name. So I can always show you this. I will always show you this.
This is how you share your games on PS4.
Thanks.
Shuhei Yoshida, as you probably will be guessing, is the guy on the left. He was the guy who basically gave PlayStation the victory before the 8th generation of console wars even started. He is a very big deal. He is a very big deal for both PlayStation, especially for the customers, because he was the guy who basically gave gamers one of their best PlayStation users one of their best generations ever. He gave PlayStation users the PS4 generation. And we all know how good it was. We all ate good during the PS4 generation. He didn't do the PS3 generation, he only did the PS4 generation between 2008 to 2019. He managed the PS4. He managed its development, he managed its pricing model, he managed its monetization, he managed the way it works, he managed everything. And for all intents and purposes, every single PS fanboy and every single Sony pony has to thank Shuhei Yoshida, because he is the reason why PlayStation even has such a large following to begin with, even till now. He is the reason PlayStation 5 exists, even if it's not by his hands. Because PlayStation 4 was such a huge success for Sony They completely wiped the floor with Xbox One. And at that point in time, Xbox would never ever recover again. That was how important Shuhei Yoshida was. And you can see it right now from this video. People are attacking Shuhei Yoshida, and I think they should not. They should not. He did nothing wrong. His only mistake is that he had the unfortunate life of working for horrible bosses. It is that simple. And we're going to talk, and I only talk a little bit about it. 2 days ago on Twitch. It wasn't the key topic. We were talking about more of the PlayStation, the fanboy side of the story, but today we're going to talk about Shuhei Yoshida in greater detail. Okay? And I hope I can have a little bit of a comfortable expression of this entire story smoothly so that when I clip it for re-upload on YouTube, it's easier, but still, I'll do my best. Let's start again to set the scene. So right now I'm going to start all over again to set the scene. Shuhei Yoshida was the head of PlayStation during 2008 through to 2019, and he was damn good at his job. This is why people always say the PlayStation 4 was the best game console for the 8th generation. More so, Xbox One was not even in the equation. Xbox One was a failure. It was a mixture of both self-inflicted failure because Don Matrick completely screwed up the review event with all his DRM and TV obsession. And of course, at that point in time, it was starting to become pretty damn apparent since the Nintendo Wii era, the 7th generation of console wars, that Nintendo was just going to stick to their own lane. They created their own lane and they were going to stick with it. So the only two consoles who were actually part of a console war at this point in time, it was PlayStation and Xbox. And we know Xbox failed. So PlayStation 4 was the only one that came out and reigned supreme. And not just by default. PlayStation 4 didn't win the console war just by default of Xbox being horrible. No. PlayStation 4 had a combination of both. Firstly, the luck of not being Xbox One, and secondly, because Shuhei Yoshida gave PlayStation users a good product. The console was affordable. The console was stable. It came feature complete. PSN Plus was not that expensive, and you got a bunch of freebies for it to play online. Of course, I still didn't buy PSN Plus because I don't believe in paying additional for my online games. But for those who did, they got extra value. And of course, a good library of exclusive games. A good library of iconic exclusive games. Namely, Sony Japan Studios, Bloodborne. The period between the release of the PlayStation 4 through to the end of the PlayStation 4's life cycle, Sony Japan Studios was an MVP. They released so many good games. Gravity Rush Remastered on the PlayStation 4. People loved that game. Bloodborne, of course you knew. Everyone knows Bloodborne. Being a PlayStation fan was a good day. It was good being a PlayStation fan, and it was good being a PlayStation owner back in the PlayStation 4 era. So what changed? When did we see trouble in heaven? Well, we're gonna go through that, won't we? With an article. And this was an article that I want to, before I show you this article, before I actually show you this article, I want to show you all a, how should I put it into words? I want to show you all what we are facing with first right now. Okay? Now, remember this article we saw last week where apparently PlayStation has entered the spiral of insanity? And by insanity, I mean doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting things to change. PlayStation has entered the spiral of insanity. So, this PlayStation CEO, the current one we have, says his company wants to revitalize the PlayStation with more live service games. The genre itself is relatively new, no? I don't know what type of gibberish that came from, but no. Live service games, if you really want to get into if you want to go into extremely specific detail of when live service games actually started, The Division. The original Division. And that's over a decade old at this point. So shut up. But yeah, this is going to paint the picture of what's going to happen very, very soon. The trouble in heaven, as they say. Okay? This is the trouble in heaven. This is the end product, but it goes way earlier. This is an article from 2026, but it talks about a very interesting set of affairs. Shuhei Yoshida, he was a person who was very fair to the consumer, as you probably saw yourself with that video with sharing physical copies of the game. He was someone who really cared for the consumer. Yes, make profits for PlayStation, correct. But he followed the principle of you can still make a boatload of money by being good to a customer and not being a complete prick or a scumbag towards the customer. That was his philosophy to making money. And of course, it worked for quite a while, as you probably, like I said. We had our best years with the PS4 until Trouble in Heaven. Around 2019. Around 2018 or 2019. And I'm getting ahead of myself. 2016 until 2016. Okay? I'm going to show you an article from 2016 and would you like to guess what I'm about to say? Would you like to guess what I am about to say? Would you like to guess? Trouble? Oh, not this again. Would you like to guess? Trouble in Heaven. Why did I say 2016? Any guesses? Lurkishon gave an answer, okay. Well, yeah. Surprise, surprise. The Trouble in Heaven started in 2016 and was precisely because of this decision. This was trouble. This was the first sign of trouble in heaven. 2016. PlayStation's headquarters moved to California. Imagine you are Shuhei Yoshida, you're riding off the high of your successful launch of the PlayStation 4, and then suddenly some CEO somewhere decided, let's move to California. And at first, you're Shuhei Yoshida, you're ignorant about it. Oh, California, that sounds nice, the weather is nice. California sounds exciting, Silicon Valley and all that. And little did he realize it's probably the beginnings of the disaster that will come to befall PlayStation in the coming years, for the decade to come. And when was arguably the first time he started noticing the problems in the cracks? He may not have said outright, but there were problems in the cracks. The moment PlayStation moved to California, that's when you probably heard those news. The censorships. Senran Kagura getting censored. The Japanese game devs back in 2018 being forced to correspond with the Californians in full English, even though they're just releasing their game on Japanese markets. Completely for the Japanese markets. No global release. Nothing. No global release at all. But still, that does not matter. You talk to us in English because we're all Californians here. You follow Californian standards. You use the ESRB. Piss off with the CERO. I don't care, you're just releasing their game in Japan. You will do ESRB or else we will not publish your game. That was what happens when PlayStation moves to California. And eventually, it started with attacking Japanese developers. It started with attacking Japanese developers who have partnered with PlayStation for decades at that point, because PlayStation was meant to be a Japanese brand run by Japanese companies. Suddenly they got the rug pulled under them. Suddenly things started to change. Suddenly the people the publisher they trusted, they worked together well, over the years suddenly changed their tune and started to victimize them. And we all wonder why. But to me, I knew exactly why it happened. California. Now, the Sony ponies and the PlayStation fanboys and even the corporate shills themselves will always say, oh, no, it can't be California. Yes, it is California. I'm sorry. Of all the years for PlayStation to turn into a scummy, slimy corporation that it is right now, why did it only take after moving to California for it to happen? They had decades. Sony Interactive Entertainment, PlayStation had decades while they were in Japan to turn into a scummy corporation that will eventually fail. Why did it have to take going to California for it to suddenly change? Spoiler alert, it's because it is California. And one of the biggest victims of California is Shuhei Yoshida himself. With this article, many different outlets reported, but I'll use one from GameSpot, was former PlayStation exec, in other words, former head of PlayStation, Shuhei Yoshida says he was fired after top boss asked him to do ridiculous things. He asked to do some ridiculous things and I said no. Shuhei Yoshida, what GameSpot is not said, which is kind of a shame, but he was indisputably the head of PlayStation, the face of PlayStation from 2008 to 2019. The only reason PlayStation 4 was again as successful as it was because of him. And now his contributions have completely been memory hold because he dared defy the then CEO. And we are going to talk about what happens soon. It is just like Rudy Giuliani. It's kind of like the story of Rudy Giuliani. He was the one who cleaned up New York City. He was the one who destroyed the gangsters and gave some semblance of stability, law and order and safety to New York City in the 90s. All his contributions, everything that made his contributions successful, worth noting, all forgotten. And why? Why exactly? Because he supported Donald Trump. Suddenly everything does not matter. But let's go into detail of this story because I can tell you it gets worse. So this was an interview he had reasonably recently, back in an Australian interview. He was fired from his job in 2019. He was kicked out of his head of PlayStation role because he refused to listen to Jim Ryan, the then CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment. Jim Ryan wanted to remove me from First Party because I didn't listen to him. He asked me to do some ridiculous things and I say no. Who replaced Shuhei Yoshida afterwards? The one and only butcher of PlayStation, Herman Hulst. The butcher of PlayStation himself. But let's go through a little bit of the story. It is quite the story, okay? Herman Hulst succeeded Yoshida in a role, we know. And we know what happened to PlayStation under Herman Hulst. To the surprise of nobody, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about what happened in 2021 very soon. Everybody knows, everyone in the company knew I loved indie games. I loved giving indie devs a chance to shine. I promoted them and I evangelized them. Already you can see this. You already see this. Shuhei Yoshida was not your typical executive. He was basically a gamer in a position of leadership in a gaming company. In other words, the perfect fit. That was what he was. Yoshida previously talked about how he had no choice but to take the new indie-focused job at PlayStation because it was take it or leave it. Jim Ryan said this to his face, allegedly, according to Shuhei Yoshida. Because you defied me, you are not going to be head of PlayStation any longer. You can work some throwaway role in the indie games department of PlayStation, and you will keep quiet over there where I can watch you. That is Jim Ryan. You either do that or you're out of the company, period. That was the injustice. Yes, they demoted him. They demoted him, they sidelined him, and they got rid of all of his power. He is now powerless. All because he defied Jim Ryan. And you want to know why Shuhei Yoshida defied Jim Ryan? You want to know why? You want to know why? Because Jim Ryan was the reason. From the very first day, Jim Ryan was the reason that PlayStation went all in with live service games. He was the brainchild. The live service obsession that PlayStation eventually would have, as we probably know right now, the live service obsession came from Jim Ryan. He was the one who wanted it. He was the one who pushed it hard. And you know what Shuhei Yoshida said when he found out about this? He says, I don't think that is a good idea. We should continue to make the games for PlayStation that PlayStation fans want to play. Remember also Shuhei Yoshida, one of the last few decisions of Shuhei Yoshida was to greenlight Ghost of Tsushima. It was kind of like his magnum opus decision making. And you remember, and it ended with a bang, as you probably already know. Ghost of Tsushima was good. It ended with a bang. His period ended with a bang. And this is the guy that Jim Ryan, the then CEO of PlayStation, Sony Interactive Entertainment, kicked him out. This was his big... Shuhei Yoshida saw the writing on the wall. Arguably because this is speculation, but there is reason to believe, of course, he probably would have said that Concord was a big mistake. Concord was forced into the PlayStation ecosystem around the time that Shuhei Yoshida was going to be kicked out. And of course he was not happy. Only Helldivers 2 came out of this in any semblance of success. In hindsight, every single PlayStation live service game went up in flames. Destiny 2 now is practically dead. Marathon is a disaster. Concord was dead before the first month was over. Shuhei Yoshida saw all of this happening. He saw all of this happening before it happened. And he was being the responsible employee. He was being the responsible subordinate by warning the boss that he is going to make his biggest mistake in his professional life. And what did this boss do to him? Kicked him out of his position of leadership in PlayStation, demoted him, and left him somewhere to rot. That was what Jim Ryan did. I have not heard of MLB The Show either. Can you imagine more rigorous and more frequent testing after the Concord disaster? And what Sony has to show for it is Marathon, another flop. Can you imagine this? Can you imagine this? Again, I will never stop saying Shuhei Yoshida saw this coming from a mile away and he warned his boss. And this is the thanks he got. This was the thanks he got. It should not have happened. If only Jim Ryan was not such a narcissistic idiot. And he listened to someone who actually knew the industry better than he did, Sony would not have been in this position that they are in right now. PlayStation would probably not be in this position that they're in right now. Shuhei Yoshida has the biggest vindication he has ever had. Unfortunately, he could not be the head of PlayStation to prevent this catastrophe from happening in the first place. If only he was. This was the biggest I told you so moment probably in gaming history. No, and most people don't even know about it. Really, most people don't even know about it. Jim Ryan had gold with Shuhei Yoshida, and Shuhei Yoshida stuck around for another 6 years. 6 years in Sony. He's stuck around for another 6 years in Sony. It's not like he's gone. He stuck around for another 6 years. Then he finally left in 2025. And all this time they did not realize that he was probably the only person who could fix PlayStation. They didn't realize that. The more I read about this whole incident with Jim Ryan and Shuhei Yoshida, the more angry I feel. And after all that anger, all I feel is depression. Because this is horrible. And the punchline to this all is the PlayStation fanboys, the Sony ponies, they will never know what happened. I read all of this. I understand clearly what happened behind the scenes. But all these so-called top fans, die-hard fans of PlayStation, they will never know the truth. It takes someone like me to tell them the truth, and even then, they probably, if they're on this stream right now trying to post something stupid about me, they probably won't even accept what I'm saying right now. But I can tell you right now, there is a very high chance that what I'm saying is the correct one. The very high chance that what I'm saying right now is what actually happened. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. And what I'm going to show you is probably going to make your blood boil even more. Yoshida did not elaborate on what those ridiculous things that Ryan asked to do. However, Yoshida said he would have resisted Sony's live action push if he were in charge. He could have fixed everything. He could have he could have changed the tracks. Instead of the train that is PlayStation falling off a bridge and into the abyss below, he could have changed the tracks and kept the PlayStation train moving straight and smoothly. He could have prevented everything. And what do we have? CEO firings. And yes, that's you're getting ahead of yourself, Zero, but we're getting to that point already. Like Zero said, to add insult to injury. To add insult to injury, back in 2024, PlayStation wrote a blog article to so-called quote-unquote commemorate Shuhei Yoshida, to thank Shuhei Yoshida. Zavok, you have to understand, if Shuhei Yoshida was allowed to say no and act on that no back in 2018 and 2019, I would say a lot of Sony's problems probably would have been, and at the very least, heavily cushioned. To add insult to injury. 2024, PlayStation released a blog post. It was a blog article to thank Shuhei Yoshida. And with the benefit of understanding all of the backstory behind how he left the role of PlayStation head, you will understand very, very clearly that this is all just insult to injury, adding salt to the wound. Let's read this together, okay? All the good things. Look back at Shuhei Yoshida's 31 years with PlayStation. Okay. A conversation with Sony Interactive Entertainment's head of Indies Initiative. This is the insult. They didn't even bother. They did not even bother to say the ex-head of PlayStation. He is now forever remembered. All his good work completely gone, reversed. And now he's only remembered as the head of Indies Initiative. That's all PlayStation is going to remember him by. If you've listened to PlayStation podcasts over the past 14 years, then you definitely know Shuhei Yoshida, perhaps best known for his lengthy term as president of PlayStation Studios, part of the PS3 and PS4 years, mostly PS4. He took over at around the time when the PlayStation 3 was already released from the previous one running PlayStation. So he was basically there to pick up the pieces. Yoshida-san has spent the past few years evangelizing independent developers as head of Indies Initiative as PlayStation, not by choice. Remember, it is not by choice. He was kicked out of head of PlayStation. He was kicked out. Make no mistake. Jim Ryan kicked him out and put him in there just as a way to shut him up. And I'm not going to be diplomatic about this because this is what I think happened. We're blah 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 blah. Next week I've got some time to catch up with Yoshida and discuss career plans for the future, his top kingpins, blah blah blah. You're one of our first guests on the PS podcast probably 14 years ago. It's been quite a while, blah blah blah. Been traveling a lot, been all over the place in Brazil, India, Australia, Sweden, visiting devs, game events, looking for new games from developers, tweeting about games alike throughout the year. Okay? Happy to have you. Do you? Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that? Happy to have you. Are you sure about that? Your previous CEO didn't seem all that keen to have him around. He's only kept there to shut him up. Are you sure about that? Happy to have you. Want to do a lot of catching up. If you have some news on us today, yes, I have an announcement to make. I'm leaving. Exactly. You had the golden goose, Sony. PlayStation, you had the golden goose. And you screwed it all up. You wasted it all. You wasted it all because your CEO was a fool and an idiot and a guy who basically started PlayStation's slow descent into irrelevance and death. Jim Ryan. You have been with Sony for a long time. What's guiding decision and timing? This is a good question. Oh boy, this is a very good question. To be fair, it is a very good question, and I'm curious if Yoshida actually is willing to be even slightly truthful about it. I have been with PlayStation from the very start. This is my 31st year with PlayStation. When I hit 30 years, I was thinking, it may be about time for me to move on. You know, the company's been doing great. I love PS5. I love the games that are coming from this platform with a new generation of management who I respect and admire. So excited. What a shame. Of course he will say that. Unfortunate, but of course he will say that. This is the most canned PR response I've ever had. He probably was forced to say that. I can tell, in my personal opinion, if he could be 100% transparent, what you say, just like he did with the GameSpot, that Australian interview. We'd be hearing a whole different story. None of this that's being said here is sincere, honestly. If anything, it's just PR fluff. PlayStation is not in good hands. It is not in good hands. It is not in good hands. It is not. Hello, Pharaoh, welcome. It is not in good hands. But I guess, being Shuhei Yoshida and he has no more power in this pathetic excuse of a company, that's all he can really say. You want me to say nice things that have zero, that I do not mean at all? Sure, I can say that. Of course I can say that. I don't matter to you and you stop mattering to me. Hello, Dark Castros. I joined Ken Kutanagi's team back in February of 1993 when they were still developing the PS1. He was with Ken Kutanagi for the PS1 and look at what Jim Ryan did to him. I will never forget your face, Jim Ryan. I will never forget your face. I will never forget your face, Jim Ryan. You are the reason it has all gotten this bad. You are the reason. You are the reason. You are the reason it has gotten this bad. I will never forget your face, Jim Ryan. I will never forget your face. Never, ever, ever. I will never forget your face. You are the reason Sony went to shit. If I had to put a face on the reason why Sony went to shit, it's you, Jim Ryan. You created this mess and you just left. You just left. Herman House would not have been able to cause all the damage she did if it wasn't for Jim Ryan. This is exactly 100% the same case as the new blood kicks out the old guard because they believe that the old guard is useless even though they are the reason that place even exists to begin with. I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy. I hope Sony is happy. I hope PlayStation is happy. I hope every single Sony pony who didn't care about Shuhei Yoshida are happy. As they watch their console crumble into the dust and they own nothing and be happy. Ken Kutaragi is the father, blah blah blah. Was it like working with Kamibe in those days before the original PlayStation came out? So when I first joined PlayStation, it was still just a department. Ken's team was doing the dev. There was another team under Sony Music Entertainment Japan making games for Super Nintendo, and that was another small team preparing to make games for PlayStation. So two teams merged, Ken's team under Sony and Sato-san's team under Sony Music Entertainment Japan to create Sony Computer Entertainment. Oh my god, that name is so... Sony Computer Entertainment. Those were the days. Really, those were the days. Those were the days. Those were the days. I remember booting up my PlayStation 1 and hearing that iconic PlayStation sound. It always fills me with such excitement when that sound appeared on my CRT TV. The company was the subject. We held a party and everyone was in a room at the hotel. I remember it was about 80 people, a small team. Let him talk about his stories. It's just him reminiscing. Yeah, it's funny how these things work, and you are here, and you know, here we are, 31 years. It's a very different story. Tell me a little bit about your first job with PlayStation. I joined a team as someone who's taught to publishers and developers in JP, so as to lead account management. I phone call many companies. It was real fun for a time, but it's really challenging work because not many people in the industry believe in 3D graphics technology at the time. Eventually moved up to being president, and this was the golden age of PlayStation. If the PlayStation 2 era was the diamond age, the PlayStation 4 era was the golden age. Throughout the time I was involved with game development, there were so many great games and great teams I was lucky to work with. And every year going with events like DICE Summit was so much fun because some of our games got nominated for Game of the Year many times. When you're in the industry, if you get involved in one Game of the Year, you are so fortunate. But I got nominated almost every year. This is what Jim Ryan has destroyed, by the way. I'm never going to stop reminding everyone on this stream. He is the reason things got as bad as he did. She did it. He did this. He did all of this. He got rid of Shuhei Yoshida, who was the reason PlayStation 4 was the golden age of PlayStation. And he replaced it with a disaster show like Herman Host. And under Herman Host, he gutted Sony Japan Studios. The same Japan Studios that was responsible for so many Game of the Years. However, among all these times, one time stood out for me in my memory as something really, really special was when Journey got Game of the Year award. Journey was distributed through PSN. It was digital only, small game. You can finish the game within like 3 hours. But that game won Game of the Year against all the other AAA titles. I think for the first time in the industry, the creator Genova Chan did talk at the summit, and he talked about the letter received from a girl who lost her father, and she thought about her father when she was able to move on with her life. The whole audience stood out, whole room filled with happiness, amazing feelings. This small game could have such a big impact in people's lives. Talking about the journey, let me get, if I remember correctly, was the previous team at Annapurna. If I recall correctly. Again, funny, we're facing Ship of Theseus everywhere. Ship of Theseus is everywhere. The Ship of Theseus is everywhere. The old Annapurna. Legit. The old Annapurna. Before the entire team mass resigned, was responsible for finding someone who developed the journey. And as you probably know, the entire team of Annapurna Interactive left. And now what we have instead of the journey is nonsense like mixtape. Let's see whether Shuhei Yoshida is willing to say this. How did you get your way into your current role as head of Indies initiative at Sony Interactive? I left Indie Games when Indie Boom started in 2000. Digital distribution started PC and mobile, blah 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 blah. Mocking is not big. There's no big capital involved. You can try ideas that have never been done before. Kickstart new channels, hold the industry like treasure hunting. For me, I was managing PlayStation CEO, was working with big studios making triple A games was great. However, when I went to events like E3 Gamescom, I went to the indie games area, found games I like. Often time developers shook. He didn't say. 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 He did not say this. He did not say this. But of course he wouldn't say this. And of course, PlayStation would never dare. Oh, that other journey, wait, that other journey. Well, so they wouldn't dare. Of course, Sony would never, PlayStation would never dare disclose this. I was part, more the PC release. Okay. I was part. Do you really think that Sony will ever dare to publish? Even if Shuhei Yoshida did say it outright, say it honestly, I am now head of the Indie Games Initiative because the then CEO Jim Ryan kicked me out of the position of head of PlayStation because I disagree with him on the live service route we are taking. Do you really think PlayStation would say that? I don't think so. I don't think so. This interview was a whole load of nothing. Shuhei Yoshida didn't get to say a word of how he actually feels and thinks. He didn't. I don't think he did. It is just an insult. This entire interview was an insult. And fast forward to today, now you see all of these things happening. Now you see all of this. Whether it is the price hikes for PSN, whether it is the destruction of physical in favor of digital, whether it is the doubling down on the live service insanity. By the way, Jim Ryan's successor is no different. He is no different. Hideaki Nishino is no different. He may not be as bad as Jim Ryan, but he's pretty damn bad in my opinion. It's one thing to be the reason your company starts to crumble under the seams. It's another thing to take over the person who has left that created this disaster and decide to just keep things as they are. These people they're destroying what we love. They're destroying what we care about. They're turning something that we love, that we have fond memories of, into something that we cannot recognize, that is beyond our recognition. We don't even know what we are looking at anymore. And I hate it. I hate it so much. And if this isn't honest enough to the Sony ponies and the PlayStation fanboys, that's me throwing all this shade at PlayStation comes from a point of care rather than a point of hate, I don't know what I can tell you. Do you think I love to talk trash about PlayStation? Do you think I love to talk trash about Sony? I have better things to do than to create a situation to hate on Sony and PlayStation. And that better thing to do is me wanting to play a PlayStation or a Sony game that is actually good for a change. That is not live service crap. That it doesn't have all this nonsense being censored from the game. They does not have all of this modern audience nonsense built into it. Do you really think that I want to do this? Do you really think I want to be on stream right now, talking in front of a barely working webcam, using in my manifestation form, just to complain about how low PlayStation has fallen? But that's my point, isn't it, Lokuchan? That's my point. It didn't have to be like this. And if it didn't have to be like this, you wouldn't need to complain about it. That's my point. I would rather spend a couple of hours playing Division 2 or playing the new update with Arena Breakout Infinite with Maxi and friends instead of yapping about how low PlayStation has fallen. Well, Trumpet, I do want to be here, as in I want to hang out with the lurkers as we yap and just have a solid time. But you think I want to spend the time to complain about this? That's my point. And it's not over, by the way. You thought this was the worst it could get? You thought all these stories would get? One more story. And it just happened today. It just happened today. It just happened today. By the way, it just happened. It literally just happened today. And we start to understand why things become the way they become. All this coping. All this coping. All this coping. Then we have this later recent news. Just within hours after the ending of physical copies, within hours, just a couple of hours, quite strangely, he could have done it any other time, before the announcement or long after the announcement, the president and CEO of Sony decided to sell 225,000 shares. Just an hour or so after the bombshell, with physical copies, he sold it. Made a killing, $4.7 million. If he had done it before the announcement, he would have gotten sued, he would be in trouble. So the best he could do is to make the sale just not too long after the announcement, before the market has a chance to realize what is happening. But really, it really is an interesting update. Absolutely interesting update. What are we even looking at? I think we are close to the beginning of the end with Sony. Sony's gaming division, at least. At best, if we're being extremely generous, the PlayStation 6 is probably going to be the last PlayStation that ever comes out. That's my suspicion. That is my personal suspicion. I could be wrong, but I think so. It's the beginning of the end. Trouble in heaven is long past trouble in heaven. Now it's time for the rot to set in. Yep. The console war dies. The console war dies, not with a bang but with a whimper. Xbox is being purged by Asha Sharma. And Nishino and Herman House is driving PlayStation into the ground in real time. Sony and Microsoft are finished. Funnily enough, who won the console war? Who won the console war? Even though it didn't participate in it. Even if they didn't participate in it, PC and Nintendo. Say what you want about Nintendo. They kept their lane. They may still rip off their customers, but they still have exclusives. Exclusives that people do care about. And of course there's PC. PC will never. PC is legion. PC is many. PC is a hydra. PC will never go away, it will never die. So the future of console wars, I can only see one thing. It will not happen. Not in a way that we will understand it at the very least. Perhaps it will be, perhaps like Master say, it could become a case of mobile versus PC. It could, but honestly, mobile again sticks to your own lane, PC sticks to your own lane. In the end, there will be peace. There will be peace. Nintendo is gonna stick to their own lane, like they have been since the Nintendo Wii. PC is just gonna stick to their own lane, where every game dev is just gonna go there naturally. And mobile will just continue to be mobile. They will have nothing to do with each other. They will want nothing to do with each other. And they will mind their business. And they will not bother each other. And they only worry about themselves. I think that is where the future of the console war is going to be. Sony and PlayStation is on borrowed time. They are on life support. PlayStation now has an expiry date. And by the time the clock finally reached the end, they are just going to go the same way as Sega did. The Sega Dreamcast was their last game, was their last console, and I suspect the PlayStation 6 will be its last console. I would, perhaps in an odd way, perhaps, the VR scene might be different for the new console war. It might be. Sega is doing backflips on Cliff too, yeah. But I'm talking about in terms of consoles. But yes, Sega is not in a good spot right now either. The only good thing that came out of it is Stranger Than Heaven, but the rest is just honestly quite a disaster. Alright. I don't think I have that much time left for the stream. What I'm going to do is I'm probably going to end we still have about 20 minutes left to the stream because today I'm quite busy. I might spend the last 20 minutes of the stream to just V-tweet. How about that? Let's do a V-tweet. A live V-tweet. And it's going to be about, unfortunately, it's going to be about Sony, okay? It's going to be about Sony. Spoiler alert is, of course, it's going to be about Sony. Let's move my screen back here for a moment. Community art appreciation. We can do that after I make a post. Okay. There is no end to harsh reminders. How far everything has fallen. It is most. I think the biggest irony of this thing is, the biggest irony of all of this, Lucas, is that, say what you want, I think I was a PlayStation fan. A pretty big one too. Like I say in the previous post, I have every single PlayStation console except a Vita and a PlayStation 5. I had the PS1, the PS2, PS3, PS4, and the PSP. I cared for PlayStation. And it's because I care about PlayStation is why I keep complaining. But let me finish this post first, okay? I need to find a good image for this. Give me a second. Let me go to Paint. I'm going to go back to Paint. I'm going back to Paint. There now.
You will have
what's this?
nothing and you will write it.
Kirby, thank you for the 5. Today's been an off day for a couple of people, but here's to help Babin get coffee for next stream to schedule it correctly. Thank you so much, Kirby. Thank you, Kirby fans. Thank you. Let's just I just need to find a good image. I need a great image to prove my point. Let me open back that. Dent. I'm going to, you know what, I can show you my, let's show you, where's my paint, where's the paint, where is the paint, there we go, let's show you what I'm gonna do, okay? Let's see. I need an image of Shuhei Yoshida. I need an image of Shuhei Yoshida again.
You will have nothing
Who is it?
and you will write it.
Today's been a terrible day for me, but thank you, Banmin, for fighting a good fire. I hope your day gets better. Trumpet, I hope your day is at least better than mine, but still, thank you. Trumpet for the 5, and I hope your day will improve 100% soon. Alright, I'm going to add this clown's face, this absolute horrible person's face, in my opinion. And I'm gonna add poor Shuhei Yoshida. He didn't deserve any of this. He did not deserve any of this. But he was dealt. This was the hand he was dealt with, unfortunately. This was the hand he was dealt with, unfortunately. I hope many people see this post because this is important information. It is absolutely important that gamers understand who Well, think about it this way. Think about it this way, Mockingjay74. Think about it this way, at least for me personally. If GTA 6 does not come out on PC, there is a near 100% chance I will never buy GTA 6. If it comes out on Steam, there is a chance I might buy it, but oh, what's it, Sir Evergreen? Thank you for the 2. Hope this helps through the cortisol level. Oh boy. I hope so. But if it never comes out on PC, I will never get GTA 6. Because I will never buy a PS5 and I will never buy an Xbox. Simple. More harsh. Didn't kick him out and throw him off. Smaller department. He would have stopped PlayStation from making the biggest mistake in its existence so far, obsessing over life, self-destructively obsessing. Obsessing over live service games. Voice cut off again? Is there a voice cut off again? No, that's fine. No, that's fine. Oh, I just stopped talking. Probably saw my mouth moving when I'm not talking. I'm sorry. I tend to move my mouth a lot even when I'm not talking. So please don't mind me, Kirby. Don't mind me, it was not a scuff. Wispy just, it was not a scuff just now. Don't. Every time I hear the word scuff, I'm scared. Because the mic randomly turns off. Every time I look back down, oh no, it's red again. And I look back down, oh no, the mic is red again. Red means it's muted. That is very unfortunate. I need to finish this meme. It's not a meme. White? Here we go. Don't scare me like this, please. Oh no, this is scary. This is so scary. I don't know why the voice cut offs like this. It might. I want to keep testing. Hold on, I want to keep testing. Hold on. I want to keep testing. Does the mic cut off? Hey guys, how's it doing? Hello, hello, hello. Oh, you do get your voice do get cut off while you talk. Only family friendly art. It sounds fine. Self-destructively obsessing over live service games. Self-destructively settle over live service games. Maybe it's just my pronunciation. I guess it's my pronunciation. It is unfortunate, but I guess it's probably just, it is a personal problem. I probably need somewhere to hold onto my mic so that I do not have to move it all the time. You know what I've been doing, Lucas? You know what I've actually been doing? I've been using my hands. I've been using my hands to hold the mic. I know content creators usually have to... I know content creators are meant to put one of those standing mic stands so you can move it closely or further, move it close or far while you talk, but I literally just use my hands to hold my mic, and I think that's probably a very bad idea in the long run. But I've been doing it for an entire year, so maybe I'm going to used to it, but I think I should start to move to a proper mic stand. That's probably the reason why you are here to cut off, because Sometimes I talk very, very closely and I move my mic away, move my mic a little too far, and then you didn't hear everything else. So yeah, here's me talking, and the mic suddenly goes all the way here. Alright, talking, and then suddenly this happens. That probably explains a lot. Self-destructively obsessing over live service games. I think maybe one day I will probably need to find a pair of headphones with a very, very good inbuilt mic. So I don't have to move around so much. Because right now if I have to put my mouth close to the mic to talk, I need to use my hands. If I have to use my hands, I can't type. If I can't type, I can't make my post. I can't V-tweet. Oh yeah, oh my god, I'm wasting so much time. Okay, I've got to do this. I've got to do this quickly, I'm sorry. I've got to do this really, really quickly, I'm sorry. But you can tell me the drama while we do this, okay? You can tell me the drama while we do this. No pressure, Master. You can tell me the drama while we do this. Because right now, I just have to finalize everything. Okay, I've done that. I need the second image now. Nice, I think. Where's my post? There's my post. There is my post. Let me go back to down with paint. Let's go back to web content. Let me raise the size a little bit. Okay, this is good. It's gotten a point that Dexerto has written articles on viral VTuber who is making World Cup teams lose. What the hell? What the hell am I reading? That sounds like someone just put a bunch of words into an RNG a random number generator, and then whatever comes out is the article. There's one involving individual Essie. Basically, every team she supported in the World Cup from a post on Twitter has lost, and now people say she's cursed. Oh my goodness. I'm so sad for Essie. Oh, okay. What do you think of this post, Lurkers? I'm going to read this out to you and see whether is there any way I want to be as vitriolic as I want to, Lurkers. I want to be as angry, vitriolic, and unhappy as I want to as I make this post. Okay? More harsh reminders. If Shuhei Yoshida was still the head of PlayStation and Jim Ryan didn't kick him out and throw him to some smaller department because he was upset, a subordinate, say his grand plan is not a great idea. Yoshida would have stopped PlayStation from making the biggest mistake in its existence so far. Rina, shut up. In its existence so far, self-destructively obsessing over live service games. Concord happened. Concord and now Marathon happened because Jim Ryan had too much of an ego to listen to his subordinates' feedback. Ray shows that's fine. We are almost end of the stream, but I'm glad you managed to make it here at the last minutes. What happened? What? Oh, there. Oh no. Mocky J Babby's eyes. What happened? Okay. I get it. Listen to his subordinates' feedback. He just wants. And now, the biggest tragedy is that Jim Ryan's successor is a glorified yes man who is following exactly, who is doubling down on his mistakes. May as CEO. More harsh, depressing reminder. No, more harsh reminder. It is not an official ban stream until the retweeting starts. Okay, this is really the last 2 minutes of the stream. What do you think of the post I just made? Lucas? More harsh reminders. If Shuhei Yoshida was still the head of PlayStation and Jim Ryan didn't kick him out and throw him off to some smaller department because he was upset a subordinate say his grand plan is not a great idea, Yoshida would have stopped PlayStation from making the biggest mistake in its existence so far. Self-destructively obsessing over live service games. Concord and now Marathon happened because Jim Ryan had too much of an ego to listen to his subordinates' feedback. The biggest tragedy is that Jim Ryan's successor is a glorified yes man who is doubling down on the mistakes he made as CEO. I think that's good enough. I really hope that's good enough. I think it's good enough. Demoted him. Okay. Alright. If Shuhei Yoshida was still the head of PlayStation and Jim Ryan didn't kick him out and demoted him to some smaller department because he was upset a subordinate said his grand plan was not a great idea, Yoshida would have stopped PlayStation from making the biggest mistake in its existence so far. Self-destructively obsessing over live service games. Concord and now Marathon happened because Jim Ryan had too much of an ego to listen to his subordinates' feedback. The biggest tragedy is that Jim Ryan's successor is a glorified yes man who is doubling down on the mistakes he made as CEO. Oh boy. Time to post. What time is it now in US? Let me check. Let's see. What time is it now in the US? Is it 1 a.m.? 10 in the West? Okay. Hopefully enough people can read the post. Hopefully enough people can read the post. Alright, let's post this. Lurkers, do me a favor. Lurkers, do me a favor, please. Please, please, please. I'm very grateful. Lurkers, do me a favor, please. Like, bookmark, and share. Leave a comment if you want to. It will really help. And I feel that this is important information. I really wouldn't want to do this if it wasn't important information. This is information about the state of affairs at PlayStation. So I do appreciate if you can give the algorithm boost a little bit more of a motivation on Twitter. Oh boy, that's the end. If you don't, your Badmin membership will be digitally deleted and you won't be able to resubscribe. The ban army. I don't like to use Twitter. Fair enough. For those who do, I really appreciate. Please. Oh my goodness, this is Kodami. I can only hope that enough people read it. It's important. I'll post the link. You know, I'll post the link. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Lurker-chan, for letting me post the link. And thank you, Lurkers, for letting me self-plug. I am so grateful. Thank you, Lurkers, for letting me self-plug for a short moment. I am most grateful. Oh, that out of the way, we are at the end of today's stream. Like I said, I am busy for the rest of the day. I'm busy for the rest of the day and I will have to sort out. I will have to sort out my camera, my webcam. Rena has been here. Rena has been lurking. Yes, Lurker-chan, Rena has been lurking. Shut up, Rena. Oh no, Rena, don't do such a thing. Anyway, Lurkers, again a reminder, this Friday, you will be back at Twitch. I'll be back at Twitch this coming Friday, and probably it will be just a stream to just cool off for the rest of the week. Because again, Monday and Wednesdays of the week after is still going to be back into some serious topics. Going to be some serious topics again. So this coming Friday, back on Twitch. I will see most of you on Twitch, I hope. Anyway, have a good day and a good night. Let's have a look and see who we can raid on YouTube. Okay? Let's have a look. Let's go back to YouTube. YouTube Studio. Let me see who's available to raid right now. Who is available to raid right now? Rena, can you shut up? Sorry, wrong button. Wrong button. Stream settings. Shoot. Wrong button. Edit. Customization. Redirect. Okay, we have... Mari Calliope, Pink Woman. Pink Woman. Lurkers, I'm sending you off to Pink Woman. Yeah, 1 hour too early for our show, so we are going to Pink Woman. So, Pink Woman it is. Mari Calliope, you don't have to say hi to me, but I want to say hi to you. Okay? Where is Mori? Where is this Pink Woman? Where is Pink Woman? There she is. Oh, she's pink. Oh, adorable. Okay. Lurkers, thank you for the stream. I will see you all on Friday. Okay, Lurkers, take care of yourselves and I'll see you all on Friday. Behave, have a good day, have a good night, and have a good day.